Hey everyone, it's Dr. Steve. I just want to take some time to introduce you to a little foot care routine that I sometimes take people through when I'm trying to help them increase some of the mobility, the awareness and strength of their feet. The importance of these types of exercises is to help increase the kind of functionality of our feet because they are so crucial in determining how our body responds to the environment around us. Anymore, we don't really walk on very varied environments, and we don't really have shoes that let our feet kind of breathe and act naturally. So there tends to be a lot of dysfunction in these areas that leads to dysfunction further up the chain and might explain things like knee pain, hip pain, back pain, even neck pain, those kinds of things if you follow the biomechanics all the way up the line. So it's important to take some time every now and again to really focus on making sure that our feet move the way that they should, sense the environment well, and that they're also strong enough to kind of keep up with all the demands that we have for them. Real quick and easy way to do that is to just start with some mobility work. And I'm going to take you guys down here very simply, and this is something that a lot of you are fairly familiar with, I would imagine, is just using a ball to rub the bottoms of our feet. We're not going to spend a ton of time with this here. We're just trying to get some sensation going in the foot, get some blood flow and things like that by just using this ball down here on the ground. And what I'll do is for maybe about 30 seconds or so, is just sort of pass this thing back and forth between the heel and each one of my toes, outside to side, and then I can kind of wobble it back and forth inside and outside my toes. And then the last thing I can do is just make little circles. So for the sake of brevity, I would just assume that I had done all this on both sides. From there, the next thing we want to do is just kind of mobilize our feet a little bit. One of the things that I like to do is to kind of interlace all of my fingers in between all my toes here, and then I'll just kind of work little twists back and forth, and you can kind of block the top of the foot from moving while we're doing this. Bending them into flexion here like this, sending them into extension, and just kind of wiggle wobbling them here like this for a little bit. And that should be good after about 30 seconds, trying to get everything loose and just kind of play with each toe individually. You can kind of pull them out individually, that kind of thing too. Okay, so that's kind of our quick mobility portion. From there, we want to work on some kind of quick sensation things with our feet and just trying to connect with them at kind of toe yoga, if you will. The easiest one that I like to bring people through is just trying to learn this kind of short foot position by kind of reaching their toes up here, learning to kind of tap down those big toes, tap down those little toes, and then by now you should feel some tension building in the middle of your feet, and then kind of setting these guys down here like this. Other things that we can do here are just toe spreads, where we're just kind of going narrow and wide, and I'll just play with these things again for just a couple of minutes. Again, coming up into this extension, tapping down big, tapping down littles, and then kind of setting the others, feeling that tension build into my feet. So we'll just play with these again for a little bit. After that feels good, the last thing we'll do for kind of priming the sensation pump is an exercise where we try to think about making shapes or letters or numbers with our feet. And I want to really focus on most of the action coming from my foot and ankle, not coming from my legs. So I'm not making huge circles or anything here. What I'm kind of doing is feeling like I might have a pin in between my toes, and I'm just trying to write down things on the ground that I kind of come up with in my mind. So I'll usually pick either a letter, a number, or a shape, and I might do 10 of those things. So I might go, okay, well, I'm going to spell an A, I might make a star, I might do a 4, a Z, a 1, an O, and an X again, who knows? So 10 random things that you can kind of put together, again, doing that on both sides. So once you have all that kind of done, now your feet should be fairly warmed up for the strength portion of this routine. And we are going to work on an exercise called the Vele Lean. And what that does is it kind of helps kind of line up our feet to get strength and support our body as we're leaning over the front here. And then from there, once we hit that balance tipping point, we're going to go into a split lunge called a Yonder Lunge, where we land into a position that looks very much like a sprint. And this will help us kind of learn how to activate those muscles quickly when we need them. So I'll show it to you real quick, and then we can go from there. So what we want to do with the Vele Lean here is get into kind of a normal athletic stance. Feet just in like around our hip width apart. We're going to want to try to drive those heels down into the ground as we lean forward over our toes. And then we'll kind of go forward almost to that point where we feel like we're going to tip. And we want to see about how long we can kind of hold this here. Things that we don't want to see with this are arching of the back to lean forward or pushing the butt backwards to lean forward. We want to stay in as straight of a line as possible as we lean out here, almost looking kind of like Michael Jackson in that Smooth Criminal video from forever and ever ago. I'm dating myself here. And then from here, once we're feeling like we're getting towards that edge, we can go into that Yonder Lunge here. And it's the same idea. We want to feel like we have a straight line that runs from my earlobe all the way down to my ankle. So I don't want to break here at the hips, and I don't want to stay vertical here like this. And we're going to break into this position, this kind of reciprocal pattern, where our arms come out here like this, almost looking like we're getting ready to take that next step into a sprint. Okay, so again here, we're just going to drill those heels into the ground, feel my feet and my toes grabbing me, trying to stop me from falling over. And once I'm feeling like I can't handle it, then we're going to strip into that lunge there. And you might be able to do a better job than I can. Again, I would try maybe 3 to 5 of these on each side. That's typically enough for most people. And go from there. So hopefully you find this little foot routine helpful for increasing the mobility, the awareness, and strength of your feet. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm happy to answer. Take it easy. We'll see you next time.